Greetings, everyone. Thank you and welcome. My name is Angelic Alchemy Meenakshi, and I am here today to discuss a topic that I've been meaning to talk about for the past 2 years, but I just wanted to give it time and ensure that I have more information and more healing techniques for it and more experience connected with it to be able to actually share more information on it. So here we are. We are going to today talk about dissociation and derealization. And before I get started on this, I do have to read out a disclaimer. Holistic energy healing modalities are hands on energy techniques that are complementary healing tools. Energy healers do not diagnose conditions, nor do they prescribe or perform medical treatment, prescribe substances, or interfere with the treatment of a licensed medical professional. Please understand that these holistic energy healings and messages do not take place of medical care. It is recommended that you see a licensed physician or a licensed healthcare professional for any ailment that you may have. I, Angelic Alchemy Meenakshi, am not a licensed physician, doctor, or healthcare provider. So thank you. I did need to add that disclaimer here because we are talking about some symptoms which are connected to various other disorders that have been identified here within our society. Okay. All right. And a quick introduction to myself. I am a practitioner of angelic alchemy hypnosis, past life regressions, angelic alchemy Reiki, Akashic records reading, and I'm also a spiritual mentor and a channel to the divine. And you can find me on my various social media platforms, which is YouTube, the current channel that you are listening into right now. If you have not subscribed yet, if you find these videos useful, go ahead and click on subscribe and notification, and you'll know, of course, of any new videos that come up. I'm also on Facebook, Rumble, Instagram, and I'm happy to be here to discuss whatever information that comes through my own personal experiences. Sometimes they're through dreams, sometimes through meditations, and most of the times they're also through the sessions that I perform with my clients and the self healing that the clients are going through as well. So, thank you so much for joining in. Now, regarding this topic, dissociation and derealization, it's basically a condition which entails the person, whoever is going through it, being in an event or a situation which is a trigger point for them. And once they are in that situation or that event, sometimes those can be known or unknown to them. Their soul goes into a situation of fight or flight. And in most cases, in which situation their consciousness and their soul decides to exit that event and not participate within it and stops to recognize its own vessel in the process. So it's a very, very deep phenomenon. That's a very rough and a layman way of sharing it. But I do have a definition which my beautiful guides, the divine beings that aid me in the healings and teach me as well, just defined it in their own terms and in the best way that they could explain to me right now. However, I have actually had detailed conversations with some of my clients some of them are actually children, young adults, as well as people in their late 50s and 60s as well, who've actually experienced it since their childhood. And I've myself experienced a few symptoms of just, which is something that we do experience in the spiritual world as well, of your consciousness just ejecting out of your body and astral traveling and leaving, the current scenario and feeling dissociated with the current event or situation because you're dealing with or connected more with the higher realms. So you feel more present over there than here in the situation. However, in such cases, you're able to, bring yourself back and ground yourself. In most of the cases of dissociation and derealization, unfortunately, they are, especially if they're aware of the root cause of them, they are unable to bring themselves out completely. They actually wait for the event and that experience to leave them completely on its own. They don't feel like they're in control of it. Okay. So here we go. This is the definition that my guides shared about it. Dissociation and derealization is a dearrangement of the mind body soul complex caused by varying symptoms which result in the being removing themselves from their surroundings, including their physical vessel. This is a temporary effect. However, continuous occurrences can lead to more complex symptoms needing profound healing and treatments. Okay. So, as they're sharing here, and as I heard from my clients, was also pretty similar to what they've described. And we'll go more into details of what the symptoms are, what the causes are, and healing tips. And this is more coming from a holistic healing, energy healing point of view, where there's a lot of self work involved. However, if a child is involved, the parent can actually step in and help them resolve all these issues and help them center back into their body. Okay. The varying symptoms faced by people, some of them that I'm going to list right now, they don't always feel all of them together, but some of them are common and they are recurring. So each time they go through an event, they know they're going to go through these symptoms and they do go through similar symptoms. So some of them are withdrawing from current environment, event, and situation, feeling lightheadedness, disconnecting from the physical senses of seeing, hearing, and feeling as well. So, what basically happens to them is, so let me give you an example. If the trigger point for the client is a high intensity area that they visit, okay, so it could be a music festival they go to or the mall because there's a lot of crowd there. So if that is basically the trigger point for them, as soon as they're in that situation, they can start to feel this nervousness and anxiety rise up within them, and then their soul or their consciousness starts lifting, going higher, and it starts seeing their own vessel as if it's seeing their own vessel from outside. They're not attached to it, and this vessel becomes a third person for them. And then they start seeing everything as if something is happening to this vessel, but they're not a part of this vessel. This vessel is a part of this environment and this event, whatever's occurring here. And as they are exiting and as they're going through this feeling, this notion, the voices around them start echoing. So if someone's calling them or talking to them, it becomes more like a hello, are you there? And it just starts echoing. And the vision starts to get a little bit blurry as well. And also they stop feeling anything connected to that environment and that event. Okay. And they're basically in an in-between state. And some of them could be, now this is not typical, but it's varying for everybody, but some of them could be connected to the false matrix at that time, therefore go through a very rough experience. Whereas some of them also are connected to, say, the God source matrix, where they're trying to find more answers to their soul and they come back to those answers and that realization. But this is a little bit rare. In most cases that I've seen, they feel disconnected and they also feel the matrix. Like they can literally feel that this is a part of the matrix, which is something that I felt very strongly from star children. This is a common occurrence that some of them actually felt that, I've worked with as well. So they also tend to lose memory. I'm just reading out of the notes. I wanted to make sure I don't miss anything. They also tend to lose memory of that event and occurrence and what happened before that event, what happened during the event. And if you try to remind them later, they won't have any memory recall of it because their subconscious and conscious mind was not uh, dialed in or checked in to that event. It was in its own in between state. Okay. What else? Depression could be another one. There's sadness. Not being able to understand the phenomenon itself is traumatic for these beings. And they also have a lot of unanswered questions, which basically cause further more trauma within them. And we'll talk about the causes right now. So it's all just looped in, the symptoms, the causes, and everything just goes all along in this big giant cycle of experience for them and then just reoccurs again and again and again till they either finally on their own exit out of it because their soul has been helped and at the subconscious level they work on themselves, or they actually go through with their own awareness, they go through their overall health and wellness healing process where they go into profound healing. So if they need medical attention, they take that, but they also take, they work on their energies, they work on their holistic healing, basically getting down to the root cause of it, because medically this has been associated mostly with PTSD and with traumatic situation. However, most of the clients that I have met, they have not had any traumas in this lifetime. Some of them started experiencing this pattern, this experience as early as 4 years in their life, and they remember it categorically. Some of them have also shown me their pictures from events saying, oh, at this point in this picture, I want to show you, I was with my parents and stuff, but I was not connected. And because this was going on, they were at a zoo, or I don't know where they were, at some make believe place. Um, what was it? It was a show or circus? I don't know, some event. And she said that she felt checked out and she immediately felt dissociated and derealization as she entered that place. Okay. So again, most of them have come back to me and said that they've had absolutely no traumas in their childhood. They had the most blessed families, and having known their parents, and also energetically having and spiritually checked, they've never not had any traumas in this lifetime. So obviously this is rooted in something deeper than this current lifetime, and this soul, this child, has experienced it as soon as it entered back into the matrix. Okay, so yeah, let's go and look at the causes for it. Now, some of them are because of past traumas, um, dissociation from oversoul, and feeling in between, trying to find the source anchor points for themselves. So a lot of them get triggered by the who am I situation. So that question comes up a lot, and I hear this from the star seeds and other some of the other few beings that I've worked with, where they said that they would stare at themselves, or they'd suddenly think, who am I? What am I? This vessel is not mine. I'm not supposed to be limited in this vessel. This place is a matrix. This is like a movie. This is not real. Nothing around me is real. These people are playing a role. So while, medically, some people, medically, it might be termed under various other disorders. However, energetically, there are other answers that are available to heal yourself. Okay. They could be experiencing deja vu a lot. And let's see what else. So I want to repeat this point: the dissociation from oversoul, feeling in between, trying to find source anchor points and answers to questions like who am I? What am I doing here? And not feeling connected with the physical surroundings because they realize that this is all a make believe event and place. Memory recall of trigger situations could be another one. It could be loud noises, crowded places, chaotic environments. Also, high intensity places or events could lead to this. They are one of the other reasons why this happens is, and this could happen in people who are spiritually working on themselves, is this is a lighter version of it. So it's not really traumatic because, the ones that really go through it because of traumas and other reasons, they can have some really deep symptoms, which can sometimes be very debilitating for their lifestyle. However, if you feel it more from a spiritual point of view, because you've been working a lot on yourself and you're completely dialed into the higher consciousness, and you're always connected with the higher self, and the oversouls continuously always talking to them, sometimes you can start feeling dissociated with your physical vessel and the physical body and the role that you're playing here, and also the environment that you are in. So you could be doing all of this work in the higher realms. However, here you might feel disconnected with your own family. It happens in situation where children are trying to talk to their mothers or fathers. However, even though it seems like they're present, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, they're not present. They're actually dialed into a higher environment, into a higher frequency, and disconnected from their root chakras. Okay. Connected and active higher chakras and less connected lower chakras could be another reason. Less grounding could be another reason. Star kids are also aware of this because they are aware that we are in a matrix, and that the matrix is a make believe situation, event, place that they are plugged into. So it gets very frustrating for them when they come back into the cycle, or they're just born for the first time. They do realize the foundation of and how suffocating it can be to be in a vessel. So, because their spirit is more used to being in the crystalline form, so they can feel trapped in the body. And a lot of them, some of them have said that it feels like we're in a movie. This person's not real. This is not real. This is all people are just enacting it out. And actually, how cool is that, that they're aware of that, right? They're aware of the matrix. So that's what it is. Healing tips. So one of the things that can really help is, depending on who is going through it, taking the simpler scenarios where it comes to spiritual people or people working on themselves who sometimes get more connected with the higher realms, the higher chakras, their soul star chakra and the soul families, and start degrounding or ungrounding themselves from Mother Earth and their real environment, the physical environment, and start feeling lightheaded. So for them, one of the best things to do is just realizing, we do realize it at some points, and if someone in the family is asking, hello, are you dialed in? Hello, are you listening to me? You're talking to me, but I feel you're not here. Just, following those cues and checking in with yourself to make sure that you are fully grounded in your vessel, because we are in a physical vessel because of a certain reason. If we were not meant to be in this physical body, we would have been with our higher selves working from the higher realms. If we are in this body right now, there is a reason for that. Our role needs to be performed in the physical, and we are the anchor points for our higher selves, the boots on the ground for them. So we cannot afford to lose this connection with Mother Earth and with our grounding here. So again, number one would be breathing. Just breathe, breathe, breathe. Nice deep breaths into your soul, into your heart, anchoring in, using crystals of the lower chakras, which could be um, tiger's eye, black onyx, black tourmaline, could be carnelian, which is again orange red in color, connects us to Mother Earth, to the earth, as well as any brown crystal or black crystal would do as well, because it connects with earth. And meditation again, but with an intention to connect with Mother Earth. So you can find an anchor point for yourself. It could be a tree, it could be something at the center of Earth, at the core of Earth. However, you feel more connected to Mother Earth through the waters or the land, just finding that anchor point and breathing yourself back, bringing yourself back from those higher realms into your body and feeling your body there. Other healing tips for those that are completely feeling disconnected and also experience the echoing and not being able to see properly, the haziness, the confusion that comes up from it, the unanswered questions as well. Basically, finding out at what point your soul started feeling fragmented or lost or not connected with the soul, with the oversoul, or having split and not feeling connected with your higher self oversoul, and feeling that you are in an environment that you're not meant to be in. Finding out the root cause of why you're feeling that, um, and going back to it to basically heal it. Okay. So it could lead you back to a past life or a current life, childhood trauma. Or it could also lead to, perhaps a life where you had achieved enlightenment, or you were a monk, or, a higher dimensional, high frequency being, and you had experienced everything that you needed to experience, but you were made to come back in the matrix. So you're feeling stuck once again, and you're feeling the need to connect back with that higher consciousness that you had felt in that lifetime. So just finding out, working those puzzle pieces together, asking questions, going into meditations, doing that deep work. You could do a hypnosis session. You could also connect with a good Akashic records reader that can help you find out more about it. Do other energy healing sessions that can help you. Food and diet also helps in grounding back and feeling more connected with your soul, because it helps your soul to become more crystalline, because it helps your soul to connect back to the more of the crystalline self-awareness that you have within your soul, and tapping back into that wisdom. You have to basically go in and heal all your timelines, heal the past life. Sometimes, because of these experiences, because they are extremely intense, they are extremely, extremely intense, and a time of confusion for the soul, for that being that is going through it. So, a lot of times, the entities, which are basically souls that don't have bodies, they try to play up in these scenarios and try to either influence this person by controlling them and telling them things to do, or they can try to enter the body, basically, because the body, the soul, and the consciousness is feeling lighter and is ejecting itself. And sometimes the soul's just in the energetic field. It just needs to be centered in. But these entities can try to, play up and try to influence this being. So making sure that all entities are removed that were connected to it, that were causing this person to also continuously feel this scenario, instead of healing from it and coming out of it. So working on that, as well as continuous meditation, grounding, soul retrievals is big. I've really worked a lot with clients for this, and I've noticed what a shift. they feel with this. And let me see if I can share an example related to that. Because connecting with your higher self and your oversoul helps you receive the answers to who am I? Why am I here? Why does this place feel unreal? And once you receive those answers, then you're able to work through it. And then it's not as traumatic, and you're able to anchor your soul back into the body. Because I do personally know quite a few people who are fully healed from these symptoms and this situation, and from dissociation and derealization. Okay. This I also, recently I also had a beautiful Reiki session of a soul that was basically dissociated from its major organic oversoul, its higher soul, and its higher soul, organic soul, was a person of history, of a known history on earth. And at some point, because of some challenges that that soul went through, that being's soul started fragmenting in pieces and dissociating in that lifetime itself. Okay. And when that happened, this particular client that I met was actually a part of a dissociated soul from that main soul. And that's why they were feeling lost in this lifetime, and they had depression pretty early on. They did not pay attention to their marriage. Well, they did, but then they got into a cycle of trauma there as well, which basically resulted in them being dissociated with their environment, including taking care of their children and looking after them, basically, and watching out for them, keeping them safe and protected, which in turn also impacted their children. And that is a sad part, because then it just becomes like a trickle, like a chain of events, and it becomes genetic. And then the child feels their trauma, and then they have the questions which are unanswered. And if they don't heal it, they get into another cycle. So it's really sad how this cycle basically runs. But this soul is now healing themselves from the situation, and also their oversoul is feeling healed as well, because that major oversoul is receiving back all of these unhealed versions of them. They're coming back healed, okay, and much more powerful and in their body. So parents facing this could actually affect how they react to their children. And while the children are trying to ask for their attention, and it feels like they are connected and they're listening, but there's nothing here. They're not listening, and they're not connected. Now, I'm not talking about Alzheimer's and dementia here. I'm talking about people who are otherwise aware of, what's going on in their life, but they have situations and timelines when they dissociate from it. So it's a very sad situation then, because then the children are involved as well. So it's very important to basically heal ourselves and help our beautiful children heal, so we don't pass on these traumas to them. Okay. If you know of a child or children that are going through this experience, then if you are their parent or their guide, or their carer, their caregiver, then you can basically help them, because children facing this could feel disconnected with their surroundings. They're unable to focus on their studies, their activities that they're supposed to be associated with. They do feel loneliness within them, even if they are amongst friends. I will not use the word depression, because I think that's too deep to be used for a child, but they do have some sense of like a disconnection, as if no one belongs to them and they don't belong to anyone. And there's this loneliness that starts creeping in, which later on in life could turn into, as they clinically call it, depression, right? So helping these children is important. It is important that the profound questions that these children have are answered by someone that is in a position to help them understand those questions from their point of view, from their situation and age point of view. Okay, so it's really beautiful, because um, I've personally met children who are 4 years, 5 years, 7 years of age, and but they're these giant, large, beautiful, higher ascended masters in little bodies. So they have a lot of questions that they have answers to. So if you ask them a question, they quickly rattle off an answer, and that'll make sense to you, right? But sometimes they have questions that they might ask that requires a deeper explanation. However, we can, in a way, explain it to them, relate to it, and make it more relatable to them. So basically, helping answer their questions to the best of our ability, and making sure that they have enough help to understand their situation. Being very, very compassionate towards anyone that is going through this experience is a given. It is just so important to take care of that, because These are beautiful, tender souls. They are themselves very compassionate souls. They themselves are beautiful empaths, and that's why they're going through these experiences. And it will be beautiful for us to basically hold space for them instead of judging them and getting frustrated with them. So that's another way of helping them. And another reason I think I have a note here is for feeling disconnected with the oversoul. Yes, I think I mentioned that. That's basically because they're a fractured piece of another consciousness of a bigger soul. And this fractured piece is just birthing itself again and again and again in the cycle. However, they're feeling disconnected from their higher self. So they just need that link to be connected again, making that intention that they're connected and reminding them of the beauty that they carry within their soul and helping them feel that self empowerment within themselves. Okay. One of the tools that has really helped me be a part of the healing process for some of these beings, and some of them are fully healed as well, is powerful intentions of helping them remember who they are and also feeling connected with source, with God's source, so they don't feel lost in this universe, and helping them remember the divinity of their soul through powerful intentions that you can actually share with them, or you can help them write it or give them an example of how they can write it for themselves. So parents could write simple sentences for the children, positive affirmations that can help them really center themselves using a lot of crystals. You can also put crystals. Did I mention crystals? I don't think I mentioned crystals. So, no, I mentioned crystals. So, crystals, one of the other ways of working with crystals is, especially for children and older people, if you are a caregiver, is to basically you can placing crystals under their bed so they feel more centered, or in their room where they can actually feel the energies of grounding. And you can also talk to the crystal and give it the intention that you want it to do, want it to have, basically help my child ground back into the body and feel more connected here. Call the angels in, call their dragon friends around to aid them, and their spirit guides, their positive benevolent spirit guides, to be around consciously protecting them. So I did work a lot with Archangel Michael, Divine Father. I worked with Shiva. I've worked with Divine Mother in various forms. Could be Durga Ma, Shakti. I worked with Kali Ma, Mother Sophia, Mother Mary. Just seeing who the soul is more connected with and who the soul feels more connected with, aligned with. You can actually make an intention and request for that being to be their guide and to protect them every time they go through that experience. And before these souls healed, even the process of them healing from these situations and events being highly traumatic and confusing for them, to slowly becoming like less traumatic, and them being able to take more control over themselves and being able to come out where they were able to say, oh, this time I could do this, or this time I could hear better, this time I call Archangel Michael from inside my mind, this time I did this and it helped. So there will be some way that each soul will have something unique to them that is going to help them anchor back into this physical vessel, and they'll be able to continue their journey in a more profound and easier, comfortable, and cherishable way. Okay. Um, Before I leave, there's a beautiful message that the Divine Father shared this morning about dissociation, derealization, and all of these experiences that we have, which are challenging to our soul until we really find out why, what, where, how, what to do about it. And this is a message that they shared for it. They said, do not fear your experiences, as they are leading you to answers your soul needs to remember itself and its grand connection to source. Once you connect with yourself and receive those answers, the healing journey is a masterpiece of your soul's expansion. So that's all that I wanted to share today about this. If you have any questions or experiences that you've had yourself, you can feel free to leave a comment or drop me an email at my email, angelicalchemy1111@gmail.com. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening in. I love you all. Happy rest of the 6 months of this beautiful year and highly activating times. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Source Blessings.